Ready?
Alrighty.
All right, welcome everybody. We sorry for the late start, but we're going to get started with our live event from Homestead Park here in Eastern Arvada. It's a tree planting event. We're kicking off a celebration of the city's 30th anniversary or 30th year of being a Tree City USA from the Arbor Day Foundation. And we're here on site from 9 to 1 today to help plant trees. My name is Ben Irwin. I'm the Chief Communications Manager for the city. And during this event, we'll be talking to a few members of the city team and some of the city's partners who helped make this event possible. And we're really here to just celebrate trees and raise awareness of the value of trees in our community, as well as make sure that you learn a little bit about emerald ash borer and what's happening to our tree canopy. A little bit with Ian McDonald, who is our Chief Forester, who works within our vibrant communities and neighborhoods. And just one moment, just tell Tomas, who's doing our camera, that we have sound, so that's working. So Ian, to kick things off, I was hoping you could talk a little bit about the event today and why we're here.
Sure. So as you mentioned, we're here to celebrate our 30th anniversary as a Tree City USA. We also received our first growth award in 20 years. So that's an additional award from the Arbor Day Foundation, where we have to show that we've grown our program and our tree canopy over the last year. We were actually one of 8 cities in Colorado to receive that award this year. So we're very proud about that.
That's great. And so why are we planting trees in Homestead Park today?
Sure. So Homestead Park is our ground zero for emerald ash borer. Last June, we discovered emerald ash borer just up the road here on a private property. And it was our first and confirmation start increasing our tree canopy because we are looking at a loss of trees here in the area due to emerald ash borer, and of course as time goes on across the city. We want to make sure people are aware that it is here in this area as being started. So that's really why we've chosen this park.
An emerald ash borer, is that a fungus or a germ, or what is it?
Yeah. So emerald ash borer is a invasive insect from Asia. Its primary host is ash trees on the Asian continent, and it was brought here in the early 2000s in packing crates that were made out of ash trees. So it was first discovered in the Michigan area, and it's been slowly spreading throughout the states over the last about 20 years now. And it was first discovered in Colorado in 2013 in Boulder. So for the last 7 years, we've been monitoring for it, and it is an insect, not a fungus or anything.
Great. So what kind of trees are we going to plant today? And I should add that we're hoping for volunteers to come down to Homestead Park today and help us plant some of the trees. I understand we have 12 big trees we're planting in the park and giving away saplings to first come, first serve folks that come and volunteer. So what type of trees are we planting?
So we have a variety of trees. We're really working towards tree diversity throughout the city's canopy. We have some of the newer elm trees that were developed in response to the Dutch elms disease that took out most of the elm trees throughout the United States back in the 70s. We have some ornamental trees in our red point maples and serviceberry, and we also have a couple variety of oak and some hackberry here just behind me.
Great. Last question for you is, I understand that the city has a pretty comprehensive program to help protect trees in our tree canopy. Could you talk a little bit about what your team does to preserve and conserve our trees?
Sure. Since last June, we've treated about 600 ash trees through trunk injection and soil injection. Trunk injections are expensive, but they offer 2 to 3 years protection to emerald ash borer, and any tree that has been injected will be protected from emerald ash borer or any other wood-eating insect. We've seen a pretty good retention with those trees, and they actually overall look better than most of the other trees that we have not been able to protect. In addition, through tree planting and strategic removal of trees that are in decline due to disease or insects, we've been working to try to not only increase the diversity of our tree species, but also increase our age diversity. Some of the older parks throughout town are starting to see their larger trees start to reach their mature age for an urban setting. So we're trying our best to conserve those trees as best we can through a comprehensive plant healthcare program. But we try to be really conservative with our choices of trees that we take out. So.
Great. Well, Ian, thank you very much for you and your team being here and doing the work that you do and helping organize this event. And we'll let you get back to it and start getting the trees in the ground. But can't wait to roll up my sleeves and help out here in a little bit. So thank you.
Thank you, Ben.
Yep, thanks. All right, so thanks to Ian. We actually have one of our elected officials here today, Councilmember Bob Pfeiffer, who's an at-large member of council, and wanted to give him an opportunity to talk. And as he's coming down, I wanted to just remind folks of a couple of resources. One is our website is arvada.org/trees, and we encourage you to go there to learn about our tree canopy. In addition to celebrating the 30th year as Tree City USA, we're also using this event to kick off an 8-month campaign to help raise Arvadans' awareness of trees, of emerald ash borer, and the value of trees. And so encourage you to go there. We also have a member of our city team, Cindy, who's following along. And if you have any questions to the chat, and we will do our best to either answer them during this live stream or after the fact or in real time. So thanks for participating. So Bob, if you could come up, and I just thank you very much for being here.
No, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, and I'm hoping you could start off. First of all, again, Bob Pfeiffer, at-large council member for the city of Arvada, and I was hoping you could just talk a little bit about what trees mean to you in our community.
Well, I think it's beautification. It improves the environment. It gives a canopy over the city that provides shade and reduces the warming effect. So I'm all about trees. In fact, my wife goes a little crazy with me because I'll plant so many trees in my own yard. So when one of our neighbors, Ian, that live up in Candelas with us, invited me to this event, I thought for sure, absolutely, to promote the idea that we need to continue to plant trees, beautify our neighborhoods as well as our parks, and the importance of them. So I'm glad to be here today, and thanks for having me.
Yeah, well, thank you for being here. You mentioned parks. Arvada is known for parks. Doing here is replacing trees that will be impacted by emerald ash borer in our parks. But could you just talk about a little bit from your perspective on the importance of our natural spaces and parks in the community?
Yeah, I mean, it's a quality of life issue, right? I mean, everyone likes to be outdoors, and especially after or during this pandemic, the ability to go outside and enjoy the beautiful parks that the city invests in is important for mental health and for the fact that people just enjoy our sense of community. Mm-hmm. And so I see the importance of it is, you just don't want a barren land and just open. You want to have the color like we're experiencing today here in our parks, and just the relaxation of being in such a great environment. And I'm very proud of the city, the fact that we really try to put a park within 10 minutes of every house to try to promote the fact that outdoors is important and the importance of just the well-being.
Great. I want to see if there's anything else you'd like to share on your perspective on the event. Before I do, I just want to remind people, Arvada is within 10-minute walk of anywhere in the city. So if you live or visit Arvada, you're within 10 minutes or less of a park, and we're very proud of that. Are there any final thoughts that you'd like to offer at this event?
Just if everyone can think about, participating and volunteering for events like this, help us plant trees, really get engaged into the environment and really what we're trying to do here in the city. And there's so many opportunities. In fact, I believe we're still having this, so I'm going to put that out there. But you can order trees from the city. I think we do the big order. Are we still doing that? Hopefully not commit us. Arvada, where you can order your tree for about $35 to $45, if I recall correctly. And if you can do that and you want to plant a tree in your own yard, that's another event where you can actually invest back into your community and beautify our overall city. So that's another thing I would ask folks to do is buy a tree for, $35 and go plant it.
That's great. Thank you so much for being here, Bob. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, right, absolutely. And Councilmember Pfeiffer brought up a really great point. The city's doing what it can, what it's able to do to preserve and protect our canopy on public rights of way and in public spaces. But we hope that you'll go to our website at arvada.org/trees to learn more and find resources for caring for, replacing, maintaining your own trees. You play in our neighborhoods play a really important role in helping preserve the city's canopy. All right, and we've got a phone a friend here. We do have a Trees Across Arvada program, which you can look up on our website. The trees are actually $75 each, and it's a really good way of getting a really quality tree for your home. Next up, we're going to hear from the Arbor Day Foundation. We actually have a representative from the Arbor Day Foundation, which is a critical city partner for this event and for our tree protection program overall. And so with us is Elena Tucker, who's the program manager for Tree City. So much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
All the way from Nebraska. Appreciate it. Could you talk a little bit about your program to start off with and what it is you do at the Arbor Day Foundation?
Sure. Thanks for having me. I'm so glad to be here. I am all the way from Nebraska, but we are just your neighbor to the east, probably where the ash borer came from, actually. So it's really nice to be here today. The Arbor Day Foundation has a really simple mission. Our mission is to plant, nurture, and to celebrate trees. And so that's what we're all about. But we couldn't do it without the help of our partners, like the city of Arvada, like the Colorado State Forest Service. And we, through those partnerships, we're able to have a program called the Tree City USA program. And that program is actually in its 46th year this year. So Arvada, I just want to congratulate you all for being a Tree City USA for 30 years of that 46 years. That's really, really incredible. And it just shows urban trees year after year by cities that have earned recognition each year. And it shows that the city of Arvada is managing their trees and their urban forest in 4 key ways. And I'll share just a brief overview of those, if that's okay.
Sure.
Okay, so that means that 30 years in a row, the city has put someone in charge and responsible of the urban forest. So that's Ian, who you heard from a little bit ago. It shows that the city has a budget to allocate towards the trees of at least $2 per capita each year. It shows that they have a policy or a law that governs how trees are managed, how they're planted, maintained, and removed in the city of Arvada, and then what happens if you do or do not do that. And then last but not least, and this is kind of the flagship or hallmark of all of our Arbor Day Foundation recognition programs, which is that you celebrate your trees. We think that, that's the only way to really, of the urban forest and why it's so important to the places that we live. So the city has this celebration today, but I hear that there is going to be a big Arbor Day celebration for next year that will really kick off this tree campaign that you were talking about earlier, Ben.
Yeah, thanks for mentioning that. We hope that all of our work over the next 8 months together as a community and learning about trees and growing awareness will culminate in an Arbor Day celebration next May, where we'll plant trees in public spaces around the city and encourage neighborhoods to do the same. So when I was a kid, the value of a tree was really summed up in my ability to climb to the top of it. And so a lot of people, my understanding of the values of trees has evolved significantly since then, but a lot of folks in our community may not realize all the value that trees bring. Could you talk a little bit about what benefit we get from our tree canopy here?
Yeah, for sure. They're endless, really. The first and foremost, important ecological benefit to our communities, and most of which is below ground. So they manage stormwater by sucking up water into their roots. They shade our homes and lower our energy costs, including and protect our human health by keeping our cities cooler. They clean the air that we breathe through their leaves and suck up pollutants in the air. And then, trees actually, I think, provide a huge economic value to our properties. The Arbor Day Foundation just released a new report that shows the economic impact that urban trees provide. And I would urge you to go check it out if you're interested. It's at arborday.org/tree report. And you can actually drill down and look at what the economic impact of trees are in Colorado specifically. And let's just say it is pretty remarkable. Communities, not just environmentally, but also on our property values. So those are a few, but I guess the one thing that I didn't mention is beauty, and you can't really quantify beauty, but the trees around in this state are beautiful, to say the least, especially at this time of year.
That's wonderful. So thank you for being here.
Yeah.
I think we'll move on, but let you get ready to start helping dig and plant some trees here.
All right.
Thank you very much. So next we're going to hear from a representative from the Colorado State Forest Service. And while Dana comes up here, just remind you that we are here on site between 9 and 1 today. And if you are so inclined, come on down and help us plant trees in Homestead Park. And for your efforts, you'll be able to hang out with some great city team members and get a free sapling that you can use in your own yard. So we'll have Dana Colejo come up. Hey, Dana.
Hey there. there. How's it going?
Good.
This is my rock that I stand on.
That's our mark. Yep. And so you are the Urban Community Forestry Program Manager for the Colorado State Forest Service. Could you talk a little bit about what that entails?
Yes, I have the best job in the state of Colorado because I get to work with communities all over the state, people all over the state, organizations all over the state to plant trees, care for trees, count trees, celebrate trees, educate people about trees, and just push out information and money to places like Arvada and to groups like this to make our state, make our communities a little more healthy, a little more beautiful.
That's great. I'm now struck by the amount of tree expertise we have in one city park. It's unbelievable. It's overwhelming. I was hoping to rely on you to maybe share a little bit more information about emerald ash borer. One of the reasons we're here is unfortunately this little beetle. First about maybe share anything in addition to what Ian said about what it is and then what it looks like when it enters our community.
Yeah, absolutely. So emerald ash borer is an insect that is native in other places in Asia. It's a non-native insect. It didn't grow up here. It didn't evolve here. So it doesn't have natural predators here. So it's able to just go do its thing, and its thing is munching on ash trees. They are really tasty. It gets in, it's this tiny, tiny little bug, right? So you might not even notice it, but if you see a beautiful ash tree, there's one probably right in our picture. If you see some beautiful yellow, a lot of times in the Front Range of Colorado, it's going to be an ash. And
so that tree, maybe that tree right there.
that tree kind of right in the center there.
Okay.
Yeah, when I drove up from Lakewood, saw a bunch of ash trees, walk into this beautiful park, see a bunch of ash trees. And one of the best things that we can do to protect our community forests from emerald ash borer or other insect and disease pests is to plant a diversity of trees. Diversity means resilience, because if something comes in that likes to eat ash trees but won't eat maples or honey locusts or Kentucky coffee trees, those trees are going to be safe. But if you have too much of one species, one type of tree, they all go at once, and that's a huge, huge problem.
So for our ash trees, what should people look for? First of all, what can we do about this? And what should people look for if they have ash on their property?
Yeah, great questions, because there are options to save ash trees. So if you have an ash tree in your community, if the city is managing it, if you have one at your home, you can treat it. I really recommend getting in touch with a certified arborist to get treatment started. Trunk injection is going to be the best method. You get on a couple of year cycle, it's not going to break the bank, and you're going to be able to save your shade tree. That is a huge, huge value to your home and to your family. So the first step, though, is figuring out, if you have an ash tree, right? And if it looks unhealthy, there's actually a lot of other things that can affect ash trees, other boring insects, boring like digging, not boring like
Yawn!
emerald ash borer is so boring. But drought, heat stress, there's lots of other things. But if you think it's EAB, you're going to have some significant dieback in the crown. The top of the tree is going to start losing its leaves. It's going to go a little piece of bark with me, but I have it at the table, so when people come down here to plant and chat with us, we can show you a sample of the bark. Oh my God!
Oh wow, on demand.
Oh, you're amazing. Yay, community. So, like I said, lots of things will eat an ash tree. If you see a D-shaped exit hole, that's tiny. Look, my tiny little finger, this tiny little hole. This is what the emerald ash borer leaves behind when the adult emerges from the tree in the springtime. If you don't see this, you don't have emerald ash borer. You might have something else going on with your tree that you need to do something about, but it's not this, right? So always contact an expert. You can reach out to CSU Extension. You can reach out to the city of Arvada. you can visit our state website. We have lots of resources about emerald ash borer, Colorado, right? You'll find something, you'll get to the right place, you'll be able to find some help.
Great.
Yeah.
And so what happens if someone's tree isn't infected with emerald ash borer? Where are they at that point?
Okay, so if it is or if it isn't.
If it is
in the tree, you have a couple options. So fortunately, some of the treatment options can still be used if the tree is still majority healthy. You can still treat your tree, which is awesome. You can still save your tree. If your tree is not very healthy, or if it's not very big and you're like, is it going to be worth treating this tree for the rest of its life, or should I maybe start over? As sad as that is, you might want to start over. You could think about treating for a couple years, plant a new tree, a different type of tree near this one, let it get a little bigger, remove before it becomes a hazard, before it becomes big and expensive to remove. Tree removal is really expensive. We don't want to do it unless we have to, but sometimes we have to.
And a dying tree is a tree that can drop its limbs
For sure.
times.
For sure. Yep, it can create damage. It can be a safety hazard. So make sure you take a look at your tree, and if you feel like it's presenting a risk, get in touch with a certified arborist, somebody who can come out and say, yes, this is a hazard tree, it really needs to come down, or here's some options for treating it, for pruning it, to remove some of the hazards without cutting down the whole tree. That's last option. Yeah.
Well, Dana, thank you so much for being here, for your team being here, and we encourage people to come on down and visit your table and learn more about emerald ash borer. And so thank you very much.
Yeah, you bet. Thanks for having me.
See you later. All right, so next we're going to hear from founder Planet Geo. That is actually an Arvada company, right here in Arvada, that is a software company and a consulting software that advises on tree care at a larger scale. So I wanted to give Ian an opportunity to come on and introduce yourself. And Ian, tell us a little bit about you and your company.
Yeah, sure thing, Zen. Hi, everyone. My name is Ian Hanau. I'm an Arvada resident and business owner. So in 2012, I started a company called Planet Geo, really with a passion for technology, spatial information, so mapping, and trees. And so that was kind of our nexus or intersection. And a little while back, I heard that maybe about a year ago that the city was going to have their 30th anniversary of Trees to the USA. And I just thought, let's get people together and celebrate this. And with the pandemic, it's been really difficult to do that, right? Luckily, we were able to pull this off and get a variety of groups together. Also do the giveaway of saplings.
Yeah, like I said, we're really focused on how we can apply various technology, satellite imagery, applications or apps to manage and maintain trees so that they're healthier and they live longer. We have better information on the benefits they provide, things like that.
Great. And yes, thank you so much for donating the saplings. Encourage people to come on down and pick one up for their property.
Come and get them.
Yeah, while they last. Why are you passionate about trees? What is it about trees that really, inspires you to innovate how people manage trees?
Yeah, I'm one of those people who, I was fortunate, first of all. I grew up in Maryland, and in my backyard was just an awesome forest and creek, and that was very important. My parents went out of their way to find a house with one of four kids that said, no, they need to be in nature and exploring. So I never knew anything different, and I'm one of those people who just loves anything that's alive. And then the physical structure of trees. So my original background was in forest management, it's traditional forestry, right? So it's sort of utilitarian in terms of paper production and timber production, but then there's the recreation side and there's the wildlife habitat management. So when I realized there's this thing called urban forestry, for me that was about 2005 or so. I just thought, I already love what trees do and provide. I was the kid climbing and over the whole summer and whatnot. And so when I picked that educational degree at Colorado State, where I went to school, started there in '97, just realized that these things that I've been around and didn't know that much about, I learned so much through getting that degree, and then realizing I could actually start a company and apply mapping technologies to help cities to plan out where we have gaps in our canopy in cities. What's this year is really a term that's exploded. It's called tree equity. So it's been really exciting, I think, this last year to see that. So it's kind of like this nexus for me. I'm an entrepreneurial person. I'm a business-minded person, but I like the technology, and then I like the environmental piece, and then people. It's not really about the trees. It's about people being able to receive the benefits they provide. And so, that's kind of what we exist for. And we get to bring together, we have clients that are nonprofits, cities, state agencies, private businesses, that sort of thing. So all around this tree and technology space.
Great. And how wonderful that you've made a home in Arvada and have a business in Arvada. We really appreciate that. And hopefully you can continue another 30 years as Tree City USA and a commitment to our trees. You mentioned tree equity. Part of the 8-month campaign that we're kicking off is to focus on different themes that people would want to know about in our community. Things as utilitarian as maintenance, what to do in the fall, what to do in the spring for the trees that you have, how to plant new trees, but also tree equity. Why, decisions are about where trees are and making sure that we have equity of where those trees are located in our community over time. So thanks for mentioning that. Anything else you want to add before we move on?
Just hope to see lots of you out here today and come get a tree from our distribution program. And I think a lot of people don't realize the work that goes in to maintaining and establishing trees, especially in an area like Colorado where natively it was prairie grassland. And so you look around and realize that 90+% of the trees that are here they took people's time and effort and care. And so the city, as I've gotten to know Ian and his team here at the city, they do a lot of really thoughtful work thinking about creating places with trees in the city for everybody. So I think it goes unnoticed sometimes. So
great. Yeah. Well, thank you very much, Ian.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much. And thanks to Planet Geo for donating the saplings today. Tomas, I think our audio is actually coming through your phone. So it really need to get a little tighter to make some better. So with that, share a little bit about what's happening with the city in terms of community engagement. Our 8-month campaign is really about engaging the community and raising people's awareness of what's happening with trees. And it's a part of a larger program and effort to just engage our community more. So the first person I wanted to talk to is my colleague Emily Colm, who's the Community Engagement Coordinator. Emily, come on up. While you're coming up, just remind people to go to arvada.org/trees for more information about what we've talked about today. And certainly feel free to ask questions and send questions in. We'd be happy to get back to you and answer your questions. So Emily, thank you very much for being here. I was hoping you could talk a little bit about what's happening in community engagement in the city right now.
Yeah, so thank you for caring about trees. My position in the city is engagement coordinator, trying to involve the public in decision making in the city, and that involves multiple ways of engaging the public. So we've got our website, we have our Speak Up Arvada site, which is our register to leave feedback and comments about what's going on in the city. And we also have our e-newsletter. So I encourage you to visit Engage Arvada at our city website and check out different ways that you can engage with the city and leave feedback. And as Ben said here, we are having an 8-month tree campaign where we're going to have conversations around trees and tree equity and hear your thoughts about trees. So we encourage you to engage with us, and we will culminate in an event on Arbor Day next year. So we encourage you to come out and celebrate trees with us that day too.
And we're going to, as we hopefully emerge from this pandemic, you'll see additional in-person and hybrid opportunities as well. So, yeah, thank you very much. Emily, appreciate that. We actually have a website you can go to learn more about engagement opportunities and just what our overall program is, which is arvada.org/engage. So I encourage you to go there. The last person I wanted to talk to today is our neighborhood engagement coordinator. Finn is our new neighborhood engagement coordinator, and we wanted to give you, Candace, an opportunity to share a little bit about what's happening in your program and what people can look forward to in the coming year.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks, Ben. So this is an example of a great neighborhood program that we have going on, just bringing people together in the Homestead Park area. We are relaunching Neighbors Connected in 2022. And so if a program like this, getting people out to beautify their local parks, meeting neighbors, strengthening your neighborhoods is of interest to you, we highly recommend that you check out our website, arvada.org/neighborhoods. Reach out to neighborhoods@arvada.org. And we'd love to connect you with opportunities for grants, training, just meeting other neighborhood leaders across the city. So lots of great opportunities to get involved, and yeah, just like this. So love to see you out here.
Great, thanks, Candace.
Thanks.
Our website for that is arvada.org/neighbors. Well, anyway, I think this concludes our live stream for today from Homestead Park. There's still plenty of time to come and pick up a sapling and help us plant trees here in the park. I encourage you, if you're watching this after October 23rd, to go to our website resources, learn as much as you can, and look for other opportunities to engage with the city and with your neighborhood here over the next 8 months to raise awareness about the importance of trees and to be able to identify and respond to emerald ash borer. So with that, we'll thank you again for coming. I'd like to thank City Council Member Bob Pfeiffer. I'd like to thank Elena Tucker from the Arbor Day Foundation, Dana Coelho from the Colorado State Forest Service, Ian Hanau from Planet Geo, as well as my colleagues Emily and Candace and the rest of the city team that made this possible. So thanks everybody. Have a great day.